and happy Thursday, June 29th, 2023, and welcome to a Money in the Bank weekend edition of what we like to call the Clash of Le Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, the heartbeat of America himself, Kirk Cadet, in the flesh as always, and this man right here needs no introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is his tag team partner, Jonathan Randall, none other than the adventurer, your life of the party. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Money to Bank in London is this weekend. We have a couple of other wrestling anniversaries to get to and more wrestling news to bring you as always. Kurt, how you been?
Doing pretty well, man. I was having a rough couple weeks, but I kind of snapped myself out of it the last few days. Been feeling much better. I have my trip to New York coming up, not this Monday, but next Monday for my family reunion.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I'm also going to see my best friend who I was staying with in Israel because he just moved up there a few months ago. So I'm going to be spending some time with him too.
Oh, bro. What part of New York?
I'm going to be pretty much all over. I'm going to be in Brooklyn. I'm going to be in the city. I'm probably going to be in Long Island, also Queens. Yeah, I'm going to be all over that whole week, man.
Dope, bro. Dope, dope.
Love me some NY, bro. It's been 4 years since I've been to New York before COVID even happened. That was the last time I went to New York.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, right after I graduated.
Dang, man. I know you're going to be doing a lot over there, man.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been so long since I've been there, and I know it's not the perfect place. I know people have a love-hate relationship with it, but damn, I fucking love New York. There's just no other place on earth like it. There's just the energy, the vibe you get from it, the atmosphere. It's just second to none. Can't wait to go back.
Damn, I bet.
Go to Prospect Park, go to Central Park, go eat at a bunch of nice vegan restaurants, go hit up a bunch of dispensaries, see family I haven't seen in forever, see friends I haven't seen in forever. Yeah, bro, it's gonna be lit. I'm really hyped for this trip, bro.
Gotcha, bro.
All right, but anyway, but let's get into some wrestling news as we have Money in the Bank this coming weekend from London, England. But since the last time we talked to you, we did have a segment on SmackDown where Jey Uso did have a decision to make. So, at the main event segment of the show, we have Roman, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa in the ring calling out Jey. And they're basically, asking him to make his choice and telling him how like he's gonna be the next tribal chief, he's gonna be the one they anoint, and that Jimmy Uso's been the problem the whole time. And then that has Jimmy Uso come out to interrupt this as he says that the problem isn't me, the problem is our cousin. And he was just mentioning to him how we don't need, how he's just taking advantage of you, he's just using you, and you can't trust him, and he's full of shit. And then Roman tries to kind of like butter up Jey and say that I always believed in you, we always believed in you, but the only person who didn't think you were worthy of being tribal chief was your brother. And then that kind of sets Jey off a little bit. And then Jey starts cutting this promo on Jimmy, saying how you went down with an injury and I stepped up. I became main event Jey. I was main eventing SmackDowns. I was main eventing pay-per-views, main eventing WrestleMania. And that's all because of him. And he points at Roman. And then he says, so you know what? You're out. And then he points at his brother, gets in his brother's face, and he says, and I'm out too. And then he turns around and super kicks Roman Reigns, finally turning on him after 3 long years of this shit. It finally happened. Jey Uso has finally gotten out of the shadow of Roman.
Damn, dude, I kind of figured it was going to happen, man. I love the promo for one thing.
Yeah, they all killed it, man. Everybody's been playing their part to perfection this whole time.
Absolutely, I just the whole storyline has just been like amazing, just perfectly played out. Would you think this will go down as like one of the best storylines in WWE history?
Yes, definitely, especially over the last, I would say, decade or so. This has been one of the best
Yeah,
like long-term stories I've seen probably since maybe the Shawn and Jericho feud from 2008. But I think this one long-term wise blows it out of the water.
I feel it.
And also after Jay super kicked Roman, they both him and his brother Jimmy super kicked Solo, and then Roman shouting, "You need me, you need me!" And then as he gets up, they both super kick Roman as the show goes off the air. But damn, bro, what a way for it to happen! What a way for it to go down!
It's the Civil War, Kurt, and it's all going to happen in London this Saturday.
They're gonna touch down in London town, and yes, it will be Roman and Solo against Jimmy and Jey Uso.
Oof.
With that match, among many others that we do have coming up at Money in the Bank. But first, before SmackDown tomorrow night will be in London as well, and we have two major championship matches. And one of them being KO and Sami Zayn defending the tag titles against Pretty Deadly, this new Beverly Brothers ripoff tag team they got going right now.
Oh, Beverly Brothers. Wow.
Shit, I like that theme music though, low key.
Okay.
Those outfits were no good though. Those outfits were no good.
Don't match with the gimmick, huh?
That fucking Barney the dinosaur shit, yo, that's exactly the vibes I was getting from their gear.
Damn.
Should have
Oh
came out to
boy.
that song instead. Barney should have been their mascot. Maybe that would have boosted business in '92. And also in our other championship match, we have Asuka defending the women's championship against Charlotte Flair, who is getting a title shot over Bianca Belair, who was owed her rematch.
Oh,
But Adam Pearce decided to give it to Charlotte instead, which actually led to a good segment on SmackDown 2 weeks ago where Bianca came out basically, talking about the fact that she's been holding it down for the last few years and had these great matches at WrestleMania and had this long title reign, and that she needs to have some respect put on her name, and that she's coming for whoever wins that match, and she will be sitting at ringside for it. And yeah, I have to say that was probably the best promo she's ever done.
Kurt, I sense a heel turn.
It could be that, but just in general, maybe it's just her showing a little more aggression and then maybe adding a little something extra to her character, which is
Well,
great. Which is
that is
great.
well. That's good. That's good. But that aggression that I'm seeing, whenever you see people that are like that, that's like heel turn because kind of reminds me of Edge back in 2004. He started to get a little aggressive, felt left out, and then he turned heel. So in Bianca's, case, she, you got to remember, traditionally she did not get her championship rematch clause. Okay, and now you're just being thrown to the side because of Charlotte Flair. Yeah, I definitely can sense a heel turn, and if she does turn heel, I love it. But at the same time, they don't want to do that. They're fearful of doing that because her image, especially with her relationship with the kid friendly audience. You know what I mean? They're fearful of that.
Yeah, I can understand that. So that's why I was thinking maybe like they might be just like adding more of an edge to her as opposed to turning her fully heel. So with that promo, I didn't really get the sense that she was gonna maybe turn, but I just did notice more of an aggression in her, and I loved it. But then the following week on SmackDown, Adam Pearce told her that he didn't want to have any problems, so he said that she was banned from ringside. He was like saying that she would get the next title shot after that match was over, and then she was like, "Yeah, that's what you said last time," and then she walked away from him really pissed off. So that might have maybe given the hint that she might turn or something's going to happen tomorrow because I know she's banned from ringside, quote unquote, but she's definitely gonna somehow factor into the match's outcome.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think in this match, I think somehow Asuka retains. It's either gonna lead to like a three-way with the three of them at SummerSlam or a singles match between Charlotte and Bianca at SummerSlam.
Mm, I can see a three-way.
So would you say you think Asuka will win as well?
Yes, because I feel like Bianca will interfere and cost Charlotte the match, and that will result in three ways. It's only fair to do it.
Yeah, but the thing is, with her turning heel, it might kind of be like a. It would make sense in this regard that she has like valid reasons to be upset and valid reasons to lash out the way she's been lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Adam Pearce is on some bullshit. She should do the KOD to him through the freaking announce table. Send his ass a message.
Oh my
Yeah, she'll fuck him up worse than Brock did.
god.
Yeah, but I think Asuka will retain somehow. They're gonna, stretch this out a little longer. And also for the tag title match, I do think KO and Sammy are gonna retain. This is just like I think just something for them to do in the meantime. And also, I think they were probably gonna go against
Oh yeah.
Imperium at the pay per view, but since one of them got injured, they had to do this instead.
Dang.
But let's get to the Money in the Bank card. I got money in the bank. Shorty, what you drank? I got money in the bank. Shorty, what you drank? Got money in the bank. They should use that as a theme song one of these years.
Oh my god.
Yeah, maybe those little Scrappy can make a comeback.
God, bring me back to my high school days.
Okay, but yes, we have the Money in the Bank pay per view this coming Saturday. I still call it pay per views, not premium live events, so sue me. But here is the card. For the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, we have Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, who's been getting monster pops lately,
Oh yes, I'll get into that later.
Sanos Escobar, Butch, Damian Priest, and the douchebag fuck Logan Paul.
You know what, bro? I'm loving LA Knight. He's been way over with the fans. His catchphrases. The only concern, prior earlier is that he was losing a little bit, and then they finally, had him in a match against some big name people like Rey Mysterio, who in which he won, and that was good for him because he needed that. You know what I mean? You need if you're gonna be over with the crowd, you have to put yourself in matches that you're gonna win, or also with people, good wrestlers that you're gonna win. So and LA Knight, they've been doing that with LA Knight. So honestly, I would love to see him win that match. It would be a crime if he didn't win it, man, because that would be just like you're just bringing him back down. You know what I mean? So I could see LA Knight winning.
I'd like for him to win. I hope he does. But I have a feeling that Damian Priest is going to win.
Fuck, I knew you were gonna say that.
Because I feel like they're starting to tease like him leaving the Judgment Day and like him having tension with them and maybe him branching out on his own.
Yeah,
So I could see him winning the ladder
true.
match. And there's some further leading to that. So yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Damian Priest is winning. I sincerely hope Logan Paul does not win.
He's not gonna win, dude. Knock it off. Don't come on now. Don't jinx it. Stop it. He's not gonna win. They're not gonna do
I
that. That
said,
is
bro,
insult.
I said I don't want it to happen, but I would not put it past them.
Look, he's very talented in the ring, but he's not that type of person where as a potential. We're not going to make the same mistake as as they did last year with Austin Theory, where that was just a waste of time. You have him to win a Money in the Bank, and he really didn't do much with it, and that was like a waste of time. So they're not going to do it again this year. Having Logan Paul to win.
Yeah, and even Austin Theory now, his stock isn't high at all now. Even since WrestleMania, you figured that he would be a bigger deal since he beat Cena, but his stock has kind of went down a lot since then.
That's funny how you said his stock.
It
we're,
has, man.
I know, but it's like we're talking about Wall Street. All of a sudden, his stock has went down.
Yeah, like be honest, how relevant does this dude feel right now compared to let's say about this time a year ago?
Less relevant, and I hate to say it.
And even that match with LA Knight on SmackDown, it's good that he won and everything, but there was a lot of criticism for the way that match happened because that was supposedly one of the changes Vince made at the last minute. Because LA Knight was supposed to have another match, but then it got switched to this, and then the match kind of ended like prematurely and whatnot. It's good that he won, but also like in that scenario, in that circumstance, was a bad look, and also it could have maybe given Vince ideas that no, maybe this guy's not ready, maybe this guy's not the right pick. And speaking of that, LA Knight did have an interview actually last week talking about, his when he first got to the main roster last year because of his age, they figured that he was better being like a manager as opposed to a wrestler. So that's why they came up with that Max Dupree bullshit that they were doing with him, like that
How
cheap
old is he?
ripoff model. He's like in his 40s. Yeah, he's in his 40s.
Okay, I see. I mean, he's in very good shape for his age, though. But like, come on, now let's not. Yeah, can't be. Oh, that insults me when people do stuff like that. Oh, because their age. Oh, let's no confidence in them and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But he's in great shape for his age.
And you know what changed? You know what changed his luck?
What?
When Triple H took over.
Yup. Told you.
I feel like in a scenario like this, it shouldn't matter how old they are, as long as they can produce and as long as they can, get people interested. That should be the only thing that matters most.
True. I agree.
That Max Dupree bullshit was for the birds.
Yep.
But yeah, I would like to see him win. I hope he does, but I have to go with my instincts on this one. I'm gonna pick Damian Priest.
Okay.
I got to be honest. The last good Money in the Bank cash in for the men was Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, crazy, and I was there in person.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy when Big E got it a few years ago, but I just didn't like that he announced it ahead of time.
Oh, because I get it. Because majority of the time, it's
It's a surprise.
yeah, more of a surprise. Yeah, I get it. I understand. I think the only two people that kind of like did it up front was Big E and John Cena.
Also, RVD.
RVD too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but so I feel like with Damian Priest, that would be the right pick, especially if it looks like they're going to be making him more of a main eventer and they have more faith in him after the Bad Bunny match. I think this is the step in more of that direction.
Okay, we'll see.
All right, so yes, I have Damian Priest winning for the men's. So for the women's Money in the Bank, we have Zelina Vega, Becky Lynch, who was on First Take with her husband Seth Rollins the other day, Zoe Stark, Bailey, Io Sky, and Trish Stratus.
I was surprised Trish Stratus was in this match. I'm like, wow, she's really taking more of a role now that since she's been back. I thought she was going to be back like part time and all that stuff, but she's taking more of a bigger role now, and I like it. But anyway,
But one more point about Trish. This is
but
actually her very first ladder match.
yeah, mm-hmm, yup, it's another shocker right there. But still, I was very impressed with Io Sky at Backlash. And I think that she needs this to, once again, speaking of Wall Street terms, increase her stock. You know what I mean? To get more of that momentum push. So I'll love to see EO Sky win it. But then again, but then again, you know, Becky Lynch needs, she needs something. She needs a little. She hasn't really. I mean, outside her feud with Trish, even though I know that's not over, I mean, she kind of like needs something, but at the same time, her feud with Trish is not over yet. So I don't know how that's going to play out.
I think that Io Sky will be the one to win because Trish, Zoe Stark, and Becky are all going to cancel each other out. That whole thing is going to keep all of them from winning. And also, I think
Yeah.
something with Bailey and Io Sky is going to happen where I think maybe Bailey's about to climb the ladder and get the briefcase, or like Bailey's trying to talk Io Sky out of pushing her off, and then
Uh,
Io Sky does it anyway, and then Io Sky ends up getting the briefcase. So I think that's the way it'll probably play out.
wow. Oh man, that's a good one, right? Oh boy, cost dissension um, within damage control.
There's gonna be no damage control anymore. There's barely any damage control now, and especially with Dakota Kai out, bro. It's a wrap. That
Right.
group was done after WrestleMania. I told you after that match at WrestleMania, I'm like, bro, this group needs to be split up. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fun while it lasted, but now that Ego
Uh,
Sky is like really starting to come out into her own, it's time for her to really
mm-hmm.
branch out with a big win like this, and I think it'll happen. The
Gotcha.
crowd's gonna be hot for it too. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what that London crowd's gonna be like. That crowd is definitely well known for being one of the more lit crowds in wrestling,
Well, you
hands
know
down.
what? That's a good thing. That's a good thing you mentioned that because remember the friend that I met when I was at WrestleMania, the one from England.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so he's gonna be there. So shout out to my friend James Kane. That's his name. If you're listening to this episode, shout out to you. Me and him were just chatting, and he told me that he will be out there, and and said he's gonna maybe send me some content or whatever though. But yeah, man, I hope you have a good time out there, and it's great and awesome that you're gonna be out there at that event.
Yeah, I would love to be there, man. That's one of my things I want to put on my bucket list is to go to a wrestling show overseas, like in London or Tokyo
Especially Tokyo. Oh my god.
or Wales, like where Clash of the Castle was last year. Yeah, some shit
Yeah.
like that. Crazy lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most on Saturday is the crowd. I don't know about the 3 p.m.
Yeah.
start so much, but I guess we got to get used to these kind of things.
3 p.m. Okay. When did it come? I thought it would come on in the morning.
It comes on 12 noon your time because remember, London is 5 hours ahead of East Coast time. So if it's 5 hours ahead of East Coast time, it's 8 hours ahead of Vegas time.
Gotcha.
All right, so moving on, our other matches we have is Cody Rhodes against Dominic Mysterio. This one's gonna be fun. I'm actually really looking forward to this one.
Well, yeah, because Dominic Mysterio needs this, and it's funny, man. Like Dominic Mysterio's stock has been higher than Austin Theory's, man, and it's because of the storylines that you're put in with, and also the people that you're working with also makes a big difference too. So this is very good for Dominic Mysterio. So it's funny because I was talking to James, right, my friend, from England, um, he's gonna be attending Money in the Bank, right? So me and him had a discussion. He thinks that, hear me out, Kurt. He thinks that Drew McIntyre may interfere in that match and cost Cody Rhodes the match, resulting a feud between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Think
I
about
think
it.
Drew McIntyre will make a return, but it won't be in this match. It'll be in one that I mentioned later. And that scenario doesn't make
Ooh,
sense because Cody still has to have the next match with Brock.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and I'm just saying that that's something that he mentioned, and we kind of like went back and forth and just chatted, and because I did mention about how the feud between Cody and Lesnar is not over, especially with the ending
And
at Night of
and I
Champions.
actually have a feeling they might do a special stipulation match at SummerSlam. You want to know what it is?
Oh shit!
A Texas bull rope match.
No, what for real?
I heard rumors that it could be that match between them at SummerSlam. It could happen.
Wow! You know how long it's been since we had that match?
I'm not.
Damn!
It has been a while. Yeah, it has been a while. I can't remember by heart.
Like 2005.
I know Cody's had a few of them in AEW, but he's never had one in W. He never had one in WWE for sure. Definitely never had one in WWE.
Crazy, crazy. I don't know how they're gonna do that, especially with Lesnar's strength and all. But that's if it happens, that would be great to see.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever done a match like this. Like like a bull rope match or a strap match. He's never done a match like that before. I think.
Uh-uh. I think the only time that Lesnar, with his second WWE run, where he did like a stipulation match was a Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker back in 2015. But other than that, I haven't seen him do anything else other than that.
Yeah, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But this is what I think will happen.
Yeah,
I think Brock is going to interfere and cost Cody the match,
yeah.
and that's going to allow Dominic to take advantage and get the win. And I think it's going to be
Get more heat on him.
nuclear heat.
Nuclear heat.
Nuclear heat.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think the reaction he gets on Saturday is going to rival the reaction he got at WrestleMania.
True. True.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that crowd's response to him. That shit is going to be nuts.
Too, man. Me too. Wow.
Yeah, but I think Dominic somehow wins, and this is going to be fun, though. I'm looking forward to this. I've liked the back and forth they've had on TV the last few weeks.
Oh yeah, especially the segment that they had this past Monday.
Who would have ever thought we'd ever see Dusty Rhodes' son and Rey Mysterio's son go against each other at a pay per view?
Never thought of it.
Shit.
Crazy.
Crazy how times change. And also, for the women's unified tag team titles, we have Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, who unified the NXT and the women's tag team titles last week, defending against Raquel Rodriguez, and also who returned this past Friday on SmackDown, Liv Morgan.
Hmm. So we're finally seeing a legit tag team chemistry for Raquel Rodriguez because Raquel Rodriguez was always as you I'm sorry, not quoted, but as you put out, Kurt, always have multiple tag team partners. So Liv Morgan is that legit one that she has, and that's good. I would love to see Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan win, but I've also noticed there's like a feud building up between Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley. which I'll love to see. So I don't know. I have this gut feeling that Rhea Ripley is going to interfere, which will result in Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler retaining.
That could happen actually.
And
I could see that definitely
and
happening.
as far yeah, and as far as that moving forward, I would love to see Raquel Rodriguez face Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam for the World Women's title.
That would make the most sense because Rhea needs some credible challengers,
Yes.
and Raquel's definitely somebody that could build up to be in that spot. So yeah, I do think it could definitely play out that way. And also considering that Ronda
Mhm.
and Shayna Baszler like just got the titles, I don't think they're dropping them just yet. So I do see them retaining,
Yeah.
and then Raquel could go on to feud with Rhea Ripley. That should be fun to watch.
Yes.
And then for the Intercontinental title, we have Gunther defending against Matt Riddle.
Ooh, and you know what? I've said a while ago, before Night of Champions, I said Matt Riddle needs to be put in that title hunt, and he's getting it. I think it will be a great match, but look, Gunther's going to retain. I love Matt Riddle. Like I said, it's going to be a great match, but I think Gunther's going to win.
Gunther definitely is going to retain. I think it'll definitely be one of the standout matches, especially considering where they're going to be. And
Hmm.
there's no way Gunther's losing that title until he breaks Honky Tonk Man's record.
Yeah, yeah,
I gotta say, Riddle would be a really cool person to go to a music festival with.
of course.
Hell yeah, bro. That would be the fucking night to end all nights.
But you know what? You know, it's another thing I was about, want to mention. I mean, when okay, so take me back because I remember last week we talked about Honky Tonk Man's IC title reign. When will Gunther break it?
In September. It's gonna be in September.
Okay, who do you think should break his title reign, or should he just keep it up until Mania?
Um,
James told me that because of how they're doing the whole storyline with Cody Rhodes, how we're just the whole year he's gonna wait and go through multiple people. Do you think Cody Rhodes should be the guy?
I mean that could happen. It's a possibility. It could be him or it could be Damian Priest.
Hmm. Depending on what happens after Saturday.
Yeah, I think either one of those scenarios could play out. But regardless, Gunther is going to retain, and we are on to the world heavyweight. We are on to the world heavyweight championship match, which will feature Seth Rollins defending the title against Finn Balor.
Ooh, 7 years in the making, baby. And ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, I like I said this before. I believe it was our last episode. I love the storyline. I love the 7 years in the making shindig between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. I love it. I watched a little bit of Finn's interview with Corey Graves. Oh my God, loved it. Personal. Oh my God,
I,
so personal. I love it. And you know what? I think earlier today, I having second thoughts now because I think prior to all this, I was like, yeah, Seth is going to win. But man, the more I think about it, and after watching that interview, right, today, I was like, you know what? Finn Balor needs to win. That's so personal to him. Seth is not going to lose none of it. He's not going to lose anything if he does lose. You know what I mean? Um, I think that Finn Balor wins, that will have Seth to chase after it. That will really, make the title very meaningful.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think Rollins retains because one, he just got the title literally a month ago. And Finn
Mm.
has lost so much over these last few months. I mean, I don't agree with it, but he has lost so much these last few months. To just have him like randomly win the title like this, although it has a great story going into it, I just don't see it happening. The story's been great. I've enjoyed the storyline. I especially enjoyed the video package they did on Raw Monday, where Finn pointed out the fact that as he was walking away after he forfeited the title, Rollins came out and started laughing at him and like making fun of
Yeah.
him.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
attention to detail shit was great. I fucking love the fact that they
Yeah.
pointed that out.
I love that, and that's why I feel like Finn should win. But I mean, I get what you're saying about how Seth just won the title, but at the same time, man, like,
Bro, I'm sorry. I don't see it happening. I do not see it happening.
mm, Seth is really not going to lose a lot if he does drop the title.
I know he won't. I know he won't. I get it, but I just
I
don't
think
see it happening, man. Because
that's my upset of the night. That's my upset. I could be wrong, but at the same time, it's like I don't know, man. It's just like you're saying Finn had lost a lot, but I get it, he has lost a lot, but you got to look at it this way: with dissension going on in with Judgment Day, mainly between Damian Priest and Finn. You know what I mean? And my God, we don't know what's going to happen in this ladder match. I just feel like, especially with the storyline, I just it the 7 year in the making thing really like gets to me a lot. And that's why I feel like if Finn wins, that will really just boost him up a little bit more. It would boost up Seth because Seth could chase after the title. And also, the bigger thing, Kurt, is the title. It will make the championship more important, if you get my meaning.
it's not going to happen, man, because I think with Damian winning Money in the Bank and then Dominic also winning his match, Finn's probably going to be the only person to probably lose, and that's going to cause like further issues within Judgment Day. So I see it playing out that way, and I do see maybe possibly Drew returning in this scenario to lay out Rollins after the match, and that solidifies his heel turn and him as the next challenger for Rollins at SummerSlam. I could see Drew coming back, but in this scenario, not the other one.
I did mention that with James the other day because I got to remember that um, Drew McIntyre's contract is going to be expiring soon. So he needs like a little bit of a big push before this whole thing is over, whether if he resigns or not. I remember Drew McIntyre when he was a heel back in 2018, 2019, and I loved him as a heel. I absolutely loved it. I'm not saying that I didn't like him as a babyface, especially during with his 2020 title run, though. But like him being a heel, especially with his contract, you know, almost ending, I think it will be really good to see him as a heel.
Yeah, it'll be nice switch up. He hasn't done it in a long time, and
Yeah.
it'll be a fresh feud with Rollins. He hasn't like worked with Rollins in a long time, so if they do go down that route, I think it'll be a good look. But the match with Seth and Finn, I think, will be great, especially with that crowd there. And I think Rollins retains. I mean, Finn's great. It would be cool if he did win to pay off that story. But I'm sorry, bro, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
And if it does happen, I will come on this podcast on the next episode and admit I was wrong because I can do those things.
Okay.
It's
Oh
not that
man,
hard.
are you gonna get?
It's not that hard.
Are you gonna? Hey, Kurt, are you gonna do like a little like a presidential State of the Union address? Like I hereby admit that I was wrong.
Yeah, bro, I can. Yeah, I can always admit when I'm wrong, bro. And honestly, that's one of my biggest pet peeves is people who suck at apologizing.
Yeah, I mean, this is not like it's not it's not really like big of an issue though, but still like, but
I know, I'm just talking shit, but yeah,
but yeah,
I could admit I could admit when I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. It is not that hard to admit when you're wrong.
right.
If only something more of the people in the internet wrestling community could understand instead of
But please, Kurt, please, if I am right, please do like a State of Union address, please. I want to say,
don't hold your breath because it's not
oh,
happening. Because
okay,
Seth is going to retain.
okay. It may not happen now though, but somewhere down the road this year it will happen.
I'm going to make you eat your words like it was some in and out.
Hey, I don't take offense to that. I love In and Out.
Yeah, people go crazy over that place, man. I mean, I'm way over the whole fast food thing and whatnot, but yeah, every time would have
That is the
friends.
only that is the only fast food place that I hold up to a high standard and put on a pedestal more than any other place. I rarely eat fast food too, but that is the only place where, I mean, I haven't had In and Out in, oh my gosh, since April, you know what I mean? But every once in a while I'm just like, oh, that's like my go-to, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every time I would, have like friends come to visit or whatever, they would always have me take them to like In and Out, and like the line at the drive-through would be like a mile long, and she would be a freaking nightmare.
Oh boy. Yeah, man.
That
During
one
the
on
day, more than
Tropicana,
night too.
the one on Tropicana across from the strip, yeah, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
And in the main event, more than likely, we have Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa taking on the Usos.
Bloodline Civil War. Oh boy. Woo.
Can't believe it's come to this. It's finally come to this.
Yeah, man. Crap, what's gonna happen with Roman after this? I don't know. I mean, what are the plans for him for SummerSlam? But
He's probably going to defend against either Jimmy or Jay, or maybe they're going to do like a four-way with the two of them and
it's
Solo.
really not over. So it really is not over yet,
Of
which
course,
I
it's not over yet,
safely
bro.
assume.
Of course, it's not over yet.
Yeah, no, but you know what? People are been saying there's going to be like a shocking upset. I don't know for what match though, but I can't pick Kurt. Okay, oh god, I can't pick.
I think Roman and Solo win.
Really? Oh, because they lost at Night of Champions, and would really kill them if they lost again.
Yeah, and I think they need to stretch it out longer for SummerSlam. So I think something's going to happen,
Mm.
and they're somehow going to pull it off and win. But regardless of what happens, this story is not over. This story is definitely stretching into SummerSlam, and it's still the hottest thing on SmackDown. The ratings have been, they like
Oh
hit
yeah,
like the 3 million mark.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
they've hit the 3 million mark like 8 times this
Yep.
year, and they only did it like maybe once or twice between like 2021 and 2022. And but you know what's the craziest thing? Roman has not defended the title on TV since WrestleMania.
Damn. Yeah. That. Wow.
I mean, this storyline has been great.
Ah.
Don't get me wrong, this storyline's been great, but damn, they still kept the championship on him, and he hasn't even defended it on TV since.
Can I ask you something? Which one is worse, Roman's title reign or Brock Lesnar's title reign in 20? What was it? 2017 or 2014 was the one where he's just getting most of the grief.
The 2017-2018 title reign when he won it at WrestleMania from Goldberg, and then you assumed he was going to lose it to
Yeah.
Roman at WrestleMania the following year. Then they ended up having Brock win randomly, and then they waited all the way until SummerSlam to do the title change.
Which one is worse?
The Brock one was worse because the Roman one, I at least get why they've stretched it out longer, and the things Roman's been doing on TV have been great, have been compelling and interesting, but it just felt like a missed opportunity. That's all that I could say. But yeah, that Brock one was bad. That Brock, because Brock was barely on the show. He would like miss like 3 months here, 3 months there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I have very bad memories of that time frame. But yes, I think somehow Roman and Solo win the match, and yeah, they're gonna. And I look forward to seeing how they pull this off and stretch it out to SummerSlam because this is still some compelling ass shit.
I feel it.
But what wasn't so compelling was SmackDown this past Friday, as it got a lot of bad reviews. And the reason why it got a lot of the reviews that it did was because stories started to come out that Vince McMahon had a hand in changing the show at the last minute. And because of those changes at the last minute, we got the show that we got, and it wasn't received very well.
Yeah, and the rumors going on, they're flying around or trying to have him to stop him from doing it at the last minute. I think in any business, Kurt, doing stuff at the last minute, poor communication is not good for business. You can't be doing that stuff like that. It it's just is not good. Period.
Yeah, last minute changes will always throw something out of whack. It'll always cause problems. It will always cause problems. And Yeah, and I'm sure whatever changes he made did not make the show any better.
No, it really doesn't. Doesn't help the product, and it causes a lot of frustration, man.
A lot of frustration, a lot of headaches that are just unnecessary. And I hope it is true that they're trying to make it so we can't make those kind of changes anymore because that shit just does not need to happen.
No, it doesn't. Got to make some changes fast, man.
Yeah, and yeah, the Triple H era of running things hasn't been like 100% perfect, but at least we weren't hearing stories about him ripping up the script 30 minutes before the show's about to start or any of that nonsense.
Right, right.
So yeah, the more of that direction of keeping things as is, the better. Hands
Indeed.
off, Vinnie Mac.
Uh,
What should be an interesting SmackDown will be taking place next Friday on July 7th, as it will take place at Madison Square Garden. And there is a rumored
ooh,
return on that night, and that rumored return is going to be none other than Carlito.
yes. Oh my God, perfect place to do it. Man, I was so happy and relieved when I found out that they were gonna give him a contract. Man, he needs it. He deserved it, especially after the pop he received at Backlash.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be a good dude to have on the roster. He can
Yeah.
maybe join. He can maybe join the LWO, be involved with them. Yeah, it will be a good look.
Hmm. Oh yeah, man. Hey, you know what? Maybe he could feud with Austin Theory for the U.S. title. Maybe that would help Austin Theory's stock.
Maybe it would. That
Yeah,
would be a good look. Also, I would not mind that.
yeah. Got to remember, then it's
Yeah,
the same championship when Carlito debuted in '04 that he won that title against John Cena. So, I mean, if when he does come back, I'm predicting it right now, I would love to see him feud with Austin Theory.
yeah, maybe it'll happen. It's very possible. But damn, I don't get to New York until the Monday after, so I can't go to this show.
Oh, shit. I don't know. It's been a while since you've been to MSG.
Yeah, about 7 years. Yeah, 7 years. Of all the times I've gone to MSG for a WWE show, I never went for like a show that was televised.
Gotcha.
Every time I've gone to Madison Square Garden for wrestling, it was always for a house show.
Interesting.
But Raw does come to Atlanta the day I get back.
Oh,
I might go to that, maybe.
okay.
I haven't been to Raw since 2000, so I don't think it'll be as compelling as that those times were, but maybe it'll still be fun.
Damn, I haven't been to, oh my God. I haven't been to Raw since 2014.
Oh, the night after SummerSlam. Damn, you stay going to
Yeah.
Raw the night after SummerSlam.
I mean, it was only second time.
But have you been to any other Raws
Wow.
besides that?
No, I haven't because I think the one Raw I regret not going to was the one in 2017. That was the friendship of the
Festival of
festival
Friendship.
segment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that one.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think I forgot the reason why I didn't go. I think it was because of work or something like that, though. But yeah, I didn't go to that one. I'm trying to think of if there's any other Raws that came to Vegas after. Honestly, not any that I know of because lately it's just been SmackDown shows that's been coming to Vegas.
Yeah, I went to two SmackDowns in
Uh,
Vegas. I went to one in 2017, the one when Kevin Owens attacked Vince, and then I went to the other SmackDown when Bailey officially turned.
okay, yeah, I've said it's funny. I've never been to SmackDown.
I've been to three SmackDowns. I've been to three SmackDowns and I've been to two Raws.
Mm.
But the thing was, the SmackDowns I went to were like more recent. I went to like one in 2015, and the other two I mentioned, like I
Mm.
never really got to go like to a SmackDown like in 2000 or 2002.
Got you.
For the glory days of SmackDown, glory days of SmackDown.
Oh boy, yeah, take me back.
Congratulations to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford, as last week in Las Vegas they actually renewed their wedding vows.
Yeah, I saw that. That was good. In 3 years, right?
5 years, 5 years.
5 years. Oh yeah, five. Okay, yeah, five. I don't know why I said three. Misread that. But yeah, that was good for them though.
Yeah, I'm very happy for them. They renewed their wedding vows. I mean, I don't know them personally, but they do come off as like like a happy couple and like a couple that has like a good vibe to them.
Hmm.
And I wish them many more years of happiness. I really do. He's one lucky dude, though. By the way,
That's blessed, dude, man. I wish best for them
yes.
for both of them as well.
Yeah, I wonder what their reality show is going to be like. They're supposed to have their reality show drop sometime this year. That should be interesting to watch.
Oh, really?
I probably won't watch, like, binge watch it or whatever, but yeah, it's supposed to drop later this year.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And also, AEW Collision debuted since the last time we spoke, and it actually did really well.
Yes.
It actually did really well.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I like the show so far. The first two episodes have both been dope.
Hmm. Especially the first episode with the return of CM Punk in his hometown in Chicago, just as like the last time. But yeah,
Yeah, he got a monster reaction. You obviously we expected him to. Got a monster reaction. Came out, did his little pipe bomb like he always does, and mentioned that he said like he's the dollars and cents like in a room full of counterfeit bucks, and then I got like the ooh and ah from the audience.
oh god.
And throughout the promo, he kept like referencing this line saying, "Tell me when I'm telling lies." Like anytime he would say something, right after he would say, "Tell me when I'm telling lies."
Oh
And then one of the other lines that stood out was when he said, "If you're somebody who thinks I owe you an apology for what happened, then I hate to break it to you, but you're softer than your favorite wrestlers are."
yep, I remember that.
Ooh,
Crazy.
yeah, it was a nice return. He had a good match in the main event. Where they're kind of like building towards him and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, man, it's just crazy how I mean they're in the ring with each other for the first time since Ring of Honor, dude.
Yeah, it was a fun vibe. It was a fun atmosphere, and also I also like the fact that this show is very different from Dynamite. It has different announcers, different theme song, different setting, different vibe, mostly different
We need
wrestlers on the
that.
show. Yeah, it's a good look, man.
You need that. That's how it was, with Raw and SmackDown. Different theme, different announcers, different wrestlers. You need that.
I mean, it's weird having it on Saturday night, but I have to be honest, man. I really enjoyed it, especially last Saturday, because last Saturday I actually got to watch the full show from start to finish. I had to get the bad taste out of watching that movie Cobra out of my mouth, and thank God for this show, bro.
Uh, oh, you know what? Oh my god, I forgot to say,
That movie was
bro. You know what? Oh my god, bro. The other day I forgot to. So IGN.com, right?
yes.
They made a top 25 list of the best action movies. I forgot to send it to you. I'll send it to you right now. But but
Okay.
yeah, you be there. I was okay with the list. I think there were a couple. There were like a couple of movies where like, wait, they should have put that on the list though. But I was satisfied regardless though. But hey, I forgot about Cobra that you watched it. Look, I wasn't. It wasn't my idea that I told you to watch it or anything. You kind of just like threw it out there, like,
Well,
oh,
here's the thing. Here's why I ended up watching it, or at least was curious to watch it.
okay, okay,
I was watching Predator last week because I remember a couple of days ago was the anniversary of when it came out.
yeah.
So I just wanted to watch it. I hadn't watched it in a while.
Mhm.
Still great movie. Still enjoyed it. But then when it was over, they had like all the suggested other movies to watch, and one of them that showed up was that movie Cobra.
Oh God,
I heard of it. I also heard that supposedly he was gonna play Eddie Murphy's part in Beverly Hills Cop, but then they ultimately decided to go with Eddie Murphy instead, and then they turned it into more of a comedy.
right?
He used the ideas he had for Beverly Hills Cop for Cobra instead, and that's why we got Cobra. And let's just say watching that movie once was enough.
Yeah, and it's funny how Bridget Nielsen's in that movie.
To be honest, I didn't even realize it was her until like halfway through. I'm like, what the fuck? That's Bridget
Are
Nielsen?
you serious?
Yeah, at first I didn't realize it was
Oh,
her. Yeah, I didn't
was
know.
her hair's longer? Was her hair longer? Right?
Yeah, because I knew she was in it because they had her in the opening credits, but I didn't recognize that was her until that part. I'm like, fuck, that's her.
Yeah, her hair is longer. She is a little bit, yeah, a little bit unrecognizable because I mean, like the year before that, she had short hair in Rocky 4. But what I mean, I'm sorry we're getting off the topic, ladies and gentlemen. But I mean,
Way off topic. We spent more time talking about Cobra than it deserved.
I
Trust me.
know, but what turned you off about the movie though? I'm just curious to hear this.
It was just nothing to write home about, bro. It was like nothing special. It was just like some typical ass shit.
And it was about a serial killer trying to kill Bridget Nielsen and Sylvester Stallone's like protecting her or something like that.
Yeah, like these dudes with like these axes, like the bad guy in Last Action Hero or some shit. Yeah, they were like attacking random people, and then Bridget Nielsen like was one of them who got away, and then she like they were trying to kill her, and then Stallone's trying to stop them. Yeah, it was yeah.
I
That's all I gotta say about it.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, AEW Collision on Saturday was mad fun. I enjoyed on seeing Andrade back. Andrade's had two great matches back to back. One with Buddy Matthews, the first episode, and this past Saturday with Brody King, which was very hard hitting and very physical. You
Mm.
know, these dudes beat the tar out of each other. Also, Miro's on the show. Willow Nightingale's on regularly on the show, and
Yeah.
in the main event they had an 8-man tag involving CM Punk, and CM Punk got the John Cena reaction from the Toronto crowd.
It was even funnier how he mentioned the Maple Leafs. Oh my god.
Yeah, but he ran with it. He just fucking ran with it. He didn't bother him. He
I
didn't fake them. He just
know.
ran with it.
That's what you're supposed to do, but it was funny though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember like right when he came out, Kevin Kelly said on commentary, "We're not in Chicago anymore." I guess.
No, I'm telling you right now, it's just the fact that he just mentioned the Maple Leafs, and you know how I watch hockey. I know how those fans are. Like, granted, they were able to make it past the first round for the first time in 18 years, but my God. Oh my goodness! Though they still haven't won a Stanley Cup since I think it was 62 or 65, if I remember. But yeah, it's kind of funny for Punk to mention that he got the guts to do that, but he does have the guts to say anything.
Yeah, crazy, but yeah, that reaction was nuts. Like he definitely had people cheering for him, but there was a vocal part of the crowd that was not happy with him and not fucking with him at all. Because you got to remember, Canada is actually where Kenny Omega's from. He's from Winnipeg.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No wonder he was in that picture of Jericho from what I think it was like recently or it was a couple years ago. Him and Jericho were at a Winnipeg Jets game. They kind of like took pictures with some of the players.
Yeah, man, and apparently they're like really trying to keep everybody apart.
They kept yeah they kept them apart. They like had them on the opposite sides of the arena, I believe.
I remember like CM Punk was on Dynamite actually last Wednesday. He made a run in, and the Elite Dudes were not on the show. They like had like a backstage segment that might have been pre-taped, and there was supposedly some rumors that like somebody was like very upset and pissed off after the whole promo by Punk when he first came back, and that everything's more divisive than ever. That's supposedly according to Dave Meltzer, but a lot of people are saying that it's bullshit. It is true that they apparently are keeping them away from each other, and that maybe Punk might have been right about those elite
And it's
dudes, like being too sensitive about, I guess, what happened,
well,
or it could be a legal thing. It could be a legal thing.
yeah, but it is the smart thing to keep them separated right now. So yeah, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I think like legally they're not allowed to mention each other and whatnot, and they can't work together.
Uh,
But I also heard at the pay per view with Sunday Forbidden Door, they like really went to great lengths to keep them apart. I think that might have been why Punk's match went on so early in the Owen Hart tournament, which he
mm.
actually won, by the way.
Oh,
It's looking more than likely it'll be him and Samoa Joe in the semifinals.
gotcha.
That should be fun. He could possibly win it. He could possibly win the whole thing.
Who?
Punk.
Mm.
It could happen. I mean, I don't know how long things can last the way they are now. Hopefully, things are peaceful, and if they can stay that way, that's a good look. Because I really like that Collision show. Like, if it could stay as good and consistent as these last two episodes, I'm in.
Okay. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Brian Danielson because he got hurt in his match on Sunday. I think he broke his
Oh,
forearm. They said.
yeah, I saw the X-ray, dude. Brutal. He had a good match. It was a good match, but man, price the price to play.
And then initially they said he was only going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, but apparently the injury is worse than they thought, so he may be out for longer.
Oh, dude, how did that happen, man?
I didn't see the show. I gotta watch it. I gotta maybe try to
Yeah.
find a way to watch it. But yes, and we had one of the matches of the year, according to many people, taking place this past Sunday at Forbidden Door, as it was Kenny Omega against Will Ospreay, and they went 40 minutes. Man, I saw some of the highlights. They showed it on Dynamite last night. They
Mhm.
went 40 minutes. It
Holy
was a
crap!
war,
Wow.
and Ospreay ended up winning the match, though.
Mm.
I gotta find a way to watch that match. If there's anything from that show I need to watch, it's definitely that.
Sounds like a very good.
And then Jungle Boy officially turned heel, which a lot of people saw coming. But yes, he turned heel on Hook after his
I
match that he ended up losing.
Yeah, I that promo that he cut, it was a different look now. A more serious look that he has. He looked like more like a cleaner tone look. And I was like, what the hell's going on here?
He looked like his dad in 90210.
Oh my god.
But I fucks
Uh,
with it though. I don't mind it. He needed to switch it up a little bit, and I like this direction now. And now him and Hook,
oh
now him and Hook could feud. That's something good for both of them to do. It'll be good for both of them, and I fucks with that. I think it'll be fun.
yeah, I agree.
He was actually talking shit to Taz during the promo, also.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and also on Dynamite, we had the main event with Sting and Darby Allin and a Texas Tornado Rules match against Jericho and Sammy Guevara. And yo, this shit was pretty crazy, man.
Dang.
Darby Allin was about to jump off the top of the ladder onto Sammy Guevara through two tables below, and then Sting climbed up to the ladder and stopped him because Sting wanted to do it himself.
Good lord.
But the thing is, Sting only got one of the tables, so it didn't really go the way it was supposed to.
Oh man, doing that, man. How old is he?
He's in his like mid 60s or some shit. Yeah, around that neighborhood.
Good lord. Oof.
Yeah, and dude's a crazy wild man even at this stage. But they ended up winning the match with the Scorpion as Sting put Jericho in the Scorpion Deathlock, and it was a wrap. Sting got the submission from him.
Dang.
Even at this age, Sting is still taking these crazy chances, bro. I think Darby
That's
Allin
what
might.
I'm saying.
I remember I was listening to Solomonster, Jason Solomonster earlier, and he was saying that he thinks Darby Allin's a bad influence on him.
Oh yeah, for like pretty much like just not kind of like having him do all these you know high risk moves and all that stuff.
Yeah, basically, like he wants to maybe keep up with Darby Allin, so keeps doing this crazy shit.
No, oh man,
They seem like they're doing a little better. I think that Collision show is a good look. I think it's definitely something that they may possibly needed with like how deep their roster is now. So now like a lot more people will get TV time.
no. I just hope he doesn't continue to do stuff like that because like bro, like your age, man, says a lot.
I hear you, but I think he's gonna probably be winding it up soon. So I guess he wants to go out with a bang in that regard. Yes, but yesterday did mark a special anniversary for us as wrestling fans. We all know this date very well. June 28th, 1998. The Undertaker and Mankind Hell in a Cell match that has gone down in history and that will be a part of history long after we're all gone because I'll never forget watching that match that night at my grandma's house in New York, and it was definitely some shit I had never seen before. I could definitely attest to that. Some shit I
Yeah,
had never seen before.
crazy man. I'm telling you, the wrestling world headline news. Uh, Whether you're with WWF or WCW at the time, you knew about it, and just the stuff that happened in that match was just too shocking. And I was just watching the match, yesterday, and I just forgot how violent that match was. I think safe to say it's probably one of the most violent Hell in a Cell match that I've ever seen.
And definitely the most memorable. But what I did like is this week WWE put out a playback video with Undertaker and Mick Foley actually sitting down together and watching the match from start to finish, and it was good stuff, man. It was good to see like both their perspectives on it, like what was going down
Oh
in
yeah.
this specific spot, that specific spot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Foley always told that story of going into that match like he did not feel like as a character he was, worthy of being in that kind of match, like a Hell in a Cell match with the Undertaker. They hadn't been feuding in a while, so like it being a Hell in a Cell, like is it really that needed for it? But within 1 minute, they erased all of that shit.
Yeah, like that's a good point because they they didn't work with each other up in within a year up until that point, and yeah, like just a minute in, and the thing is like Mick whole mindset going into that match was like he wants to make that match better than the previous Hell in a Cell match. Like, what could he do to make it better? And boy, did he really just took it to a whole new level because they start off the match on the top, like you said, a minute going in, 2 minutes going in. That's when you see that classic, legendary, infamous scene video footage of Undertaker throwing Mankind from the top of the cell onto the announce table, 20 feet up. It's crazy, dude. And then when I see pictures of it, like I saw like a fan took a picture of it. It looks like it kind of looks eerie and horrifying when you see like pictures of it, man.
Yeah, very much so.
Like,
And he even said like when the building went dark and like he looked down below, he's like, "Damn, this shit is really that high."
dang, he didn't go. He didn't get on top of the cell like maybe like before the event or.
I don't think so. It didn't sound like it.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, so yeah, that spot happened when he threw him down, and then they end up lifting the cells so that they can get him out of there. And even Vince came out. That was the crazy part. Was even Vince
yeah,
came out.
yeah,
You knew it was
yeah,
bad with Vince having to come out.
yep. He described the moment as an outer body experience for him when that happened.
Yeah, but Undertaker was kind of like saying to himself, like kind of joking around that he's like, okay, I guess my night's over now. I guess it wasn't so hard. It wasn't so bad. And then he's like climbing down, and then freaking Foley ends up getting off of the stretcher and climbing back up. And then Taker's like, oh, fuck, this dude's really getting
Yeah,
back up.
right. So what was Mick saying about that when he decided to get back up? Because you got to remember, he didn't have to finish it.
He didn't know if he could, but then like he just pushed himself to do it. And like he could like barely even hold his arm up, and he's like climbing up on top of the cell. And then the choke slam spot ends up happening, and then the freaking cell
Or
collapse and he falls through it to the
that wasn't
mat.
supposed to
And yeah,
happen.
that was bad.
That
Yeah, that's right.
that
That wasn't supposed to happen.
no, it wasn't supposed to happen. But you got to remember, like you have both of them on top of a cage like that. You got to remember, both of them are like around 300 pounds. You know what I mean? So all that weight is gonna cause a lot. But then you got to remember, dude, like the mat. You get oh my god, dude. And those mats at the time were just really, really like rough to take bumps on. You know what I mean? So, oh my god! And then even Jerry Lawler mentioned about like, oh my god, that's it, he's dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he knows what's up. He knows how hard those mats are. And yeah, it's a long way to go down on a mat with very little give. And I know that's definitely the reason why the next Hell in a Cell with Foley and Triple H, they had that, spot where like he fell through it again, but they kind of like sucked the mat in so it wouldn't be as hard of an impact.
Damn.
And all this shit and the bell never even rang.
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah. But they rung the bell after when the match was over. That's wow.
Now they eventually did ring the bell, but then
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Undertaker constantly kept telling Foley like, "Yo, let's go home," and Foley's like, "No, no, no, we didn't. Not until the thumbtack spot. Not until the thumbtack spot." And then it's funny, like the first bump he takes in the thumbtacks, the reason why he rolls around is he realized, like, he didn't hit them hard enough when Taker knocked them backwards.
Yeah, I know because he didn't hit the well. I remember that because he didn't really hit the exact spot. So I think yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, and even before that, like when they were like building tension towards it happening, like Foley tries to hit Taker into the tax, but then like Taker blocks it, like hits him with a big boot. Then he tries to choke slam him, and then Foley's about to do it again, and then Taker's about to tombstone him, and then he puts him in the mandible claw. Yeah, that was a good little spot they had there before it happened. But then yeah, that once it happened there, I was like, fuck, man. And it's crazy that that was the debut of the thumbtack spot in North America. It had never been done before in North America till that night.
Holy crap! Wow. And let's not forget that footage of where Mankind's smiling and you can see a tooth from his nose. I was like, oh my God, I was like, wow, oh boy.
Yeah, but then Foley really did get the thumbtacks good when Taker chokeslammed him after that. That's like when he really got the most of them, so to speak.
And let's not forget this too. So after, I'm going to go back a little bit. After Taker choke slams Mick Foley, from the top of the cell, you got to remember afterwards, Mick Foley's unconscious.
Yeah, he was knocked out, and then the match ends up ending with Undertaker hitting him with the tombstone, and then it's over finally. And they both deserve that standing ovation they got afterwards. That shit was definitely
I'm,
worthy of that. If
I'm,
I've ever seen
I'm,
anything worthy of
oh
that.
my God, I'm another thing. So, and then you remember when Taker finally got off from the top of the cell into the mat, he kind of like injured his foot, kind of hurt his foot a little bit.
He was already hurt going into the match. He already was hurt.
Oh, he was. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I thought he hurt himself out. I'm surprised. I was shocked that they still had the energy to go out there later that night for the main event, especially Mick Foley because he returned. It's like, dude.
bro, that was the slowest running I've ever seen in my life.
I was like,
They
oh
were
my.
even joking about it. Like they were like watching. They were playing the footage of him coming out for the Kane and Austin match, and like he's like barely able to walk. He's like limping. I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of here, man. Go to the hospital. This is like the worst running ever.
Oh,
And then he gets a stunner for his troubles.
dude.
It's a good thing he ducked that double chair shot from Taker and Austin. That would have been really bad.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
Yeah, that was the slowest running I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit.
this that was just a very violent, chaotic night.
Yeah, crazy. And
Just
it's so funny that yeah, after the match, like Foley's all knocked out backstage and he acts like Undertaker, yo, did we do the thumbtack spot? And then Taker's like, Mick, look at your arm. And then like there's thumbtacks like all in his arms and shit. Fucking crazy.
oh, crazy.
But I like what they said at the end of it, how Foley said he kind of resented that match for a while because of all the things he did in his career. Like that would like be the main thing people would always come up to him about and talk to him about. But then
Mm.
he kind of changed his perspective of it after like Undertaker and his wife came to see his comedy show once, and they had a conversation afterwards. And Undertaker
Oh,
basically said that that match is gonna live on long after you and I are gone.
it is. Kurt, that there's I like to say wrestling folklore. That is a part of wrestling folklore. That Hogan slamming Andre, or pretty much just WrestleMania 3 in general in the Silverdome. Those are like my top two, wrestling folklore stories. You know what I mean? So it, man, it's just holy crap, dude. It was just scary, but a famous moment, as I like to put it.
Yeah, definitely one of those memorable moments in wrestling history, and it's kind of those one of those matches like you would definitely show to a person who had like never seen wrestling before and like never knew anything about it, and like thought it was
I
fake. Yeah, like
honestly,
you would show them that match, and they would be like, "Oh shit."
I, I, I honestly, if I had to show a match to my girlfriend, it would be that one
Okay.
or one of them. If I had like a list of matches, that would be one of them.
Yeah, definitely. It's one that you'll never forget. I know I'll
Yeah.
never forget that night as long as I live. That shit was definitely something that
Oof.
pretty much solidified WWE over WCW. Even people in WCW said that
Yep.
themselves. Like
Yep.
they knew there was nothing they could do to top some shit like that.
Never.
Yeah, but the thing was, Foley pretty much had to change his whole character after that. Because you notice after that match, he became more of the comedic mankind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
good times, man. And like Undertaker said, like that match is gonna live on long after they're gone, and also long after we're gone too.
Yep.
Another 25th anniversary we celebrated was also the 25-year anniversary of Edge's debut in WWE.
Yes.
It's so funny in his first match, he actually like injured that dude Jose from Los Barricos with like the flip over the top rope when he landed on Jose. Like Jose like landed badly on his neck, and yeah, it fucked him up bad. I remember, yeah, they had to stop the match because
Oh,
it ended by count out. I remember that.
holy crap.
So like his start didn't get off to the right foot, with that shit happening. So like he was kind of like paranoid for a while, that maybe he like fucked himself.
Hmm.
But then he bounced back. He had that nice, mixed tag at SummerSlam that he was a part of, and then he joined the Brood.
That was the turning point right there. That was the turning point.
That Brood shit was so relevant for the times, especially if that was around the time that Blade came out. That shit was perfect for that time frame.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's why he did it because oh, Blade came out. Oh, let's do this. Like, oh, it's just very underrated entrance. Very underrated. Coming up from the under the stage with the fire, and then you have Gangrel with the cup of blood, and he spits out the blood onto the fans. That was just, oh my god, just amazing.
Yeah, I remember Jerry Lawler made a joke once. You don't want to get a hickey from Gangrel. That'll put your ass in the hospital.
What? Are you
Yeah, he said that shit
serious?
once.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh
but then
man.
they like during the run with Gangrel, they ended up feuding with the Hardys as the Hardys were starting to be managed by Michael Hayes. They had that feud with them that led to the ladder match at No Mercy,
Hmm.
which was the coming out party pretty much for all four of
Yep.
them. That match is fucking wild.
Oh yeah. Yep. Great
That
match.
was like the point where like they were the show stealers. That was like the point where like you definitely knew these dudes were something to come to the show to watch.
Yeah. That's when you start to see the turn of the tide when it came to the tag team division. I don't get me wrong, you had New Age Outlaws though, but once Edge and Christian and the Hardys came in, and then later on the Dudleys came in, that's when we really start to see, oh my god, this tag team wrestling is becoming like really a big part of the show now.
Yeah, then the Dudleys get added into the mix, and they have that triangle ladder match at WrestleMania
Hmm.
where him and Christian win the titles for the
Yeah,
first time. I was happy that that happened because that was the 10-year anniversary of when they went to WrestleMania 6, and then they
yeah,
come to 10 WrestleManias later and win the tag titles, and the highlight of that whole show
yep,
actually. And that
yep.
was like the start of their heel turn. That's like when they were doing the more comedic stuff, and we know how much we love that shit.
that, that, that's the stuff that they did in 2000 was just too hilarious. Oh my god.
The reeking of awesomeness when they would always try to con their way out of defending the titles. Like when I
Yeah,
think they tried to con their way out of defending the titles for like a month against the APA. Like they would try to
yeah,
come up with like different excuses,
yep.
different shenanigans.
It was just funny. This is when Mick Foley was the commissioner, and they're always trying to. It was
Yeah, they were so great with him. They were so great with, and also with Angle. They were also very good with Angle too.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Not gonna forget about that.
Who could ever forget Judgment Day 2000, the 5 second pose,
Oh, that I think that one was the funniest one they ever did.
the Jug Band.
Yeah, that was the funniest one because Edge had like fake buck teeth
Oh
and I
God,
that was
they were killing it that whole year. They were killing it.
yeah.
And then the conquistadors shit when they pretended to be the conquistadors.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that funny. Too funny.
Yeah, that eventually all leads to like WrestleMania 17 when they have the big TLC 2 match where pretty much the main highlight of his career happened where he speared Jeff Hardy when he was hanging from the belts from the ladder and he knocked himself silly from that shit. I don't know if you know, but he actually knocked himself out on that spot.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he did. You don't see his head hit the mat?
Yeah, I saw that though, but I didn't know that he knocked himself out.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
And he credits Jeff Hardy for that spot big time. He says like there was no other person he could have done that spot with other than him.
True, true, true.
And then he ends up going solo after, a little while after that, did those solo things, especially in 2002, which was a great year for him, actually. Very
Yeah,
underrated year for him.
parody, but we saw so much potential in him but then, unfortunately he got hurt. Yeah, like a neck injury, right?
Yeah, in '02 he had the feud with Angle, which led to him cutting Angle's hair. He also had the tag team with Hogan, where they won the tag titles on the 4th of
There's
July.
a funny so there's a funny story about that. About the hair versus hair match with Angle at that Judgment Day.
I think the original story I heard was that they wanted to do that storyline with Booker T, but he refused. So instead, they did it with Angle.
No, 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 that's not the story. That's not. No, that's not the story. So so the original plan was like, okay, Kurt was gonna lose, right? But Vince told Kurt, like, look, we're gonna fuck with Edge. We're gonna tell him that you're going over. So when they met up that day prior to the event, tells Edge like, yeah, Kurt's going over tonight, and Edge freaked out because of his hair, and he didn't want to shave his hair and all that stuff, and but the thing, Kurt was trying to keep a straight face, and he went up to Kurt. He's like, "Well, I don't know if I could do this," and he's like, "You got to do it, man. It's too bad." And they're messing with him, and then literally right before they go to the ring, Kurt tells Edge is like, "Oh, we were messing with you, man. You're going over tonight."
Oh shit! I never heard that story before. That's crazy. Fuck.
Yeah.
What a way to fuck with someone.
No, like prior to that, because Kurt said that he noticed Edge was just not himself. Like he looked pale. He didn't. Yeah, they were messing with him the whole entire time,
Damn.
man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What a fucking rib. Owen
Yeah.
Hart would be proud. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, he had a tag team with Hogan and a feud with Eddie Guerrero. He actually, in his 25-year anniversary video that dropped with him talking about his favorite moments, he talked specifically about the match with Eddie Guerrero on SmackDown. What a fucking war that was, too, man. That was
Oh
a
yeah.
great match. A great match.
Right, I think that match was in San Diego.
It might have been, yeah, because they were in Cali that week.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and he was like talking about like one spot in the match, like when Eddie Guerrero was like trying to pin him, he just whispers in his ear, "We got him now, SA. We got him now, SA." Like referring to the crowd and how into it they were and shit.
I think if I remember, they came out with like a 10-year SmackDown DVD during that time. I think that was like one of the matches they showed on the DVD.
They better, bro. That was one of the best matches that whole year, especially that spot at the end when he did the execution off of the ladder.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, they both got a standing ovation afterwards. And Eddie was a bad guy at the time, and even he got a
Yeah.
standing ovation when the match was over too.
Oh yeah.
And then Edge tells the story that the next day on the plane they were like all stiffed up. They were all like walking past each other, like all stiffed up and all like banged up from the match, and they just started laughing.
Crazy.
But the only downside of that is that's like when the neck problems like really started getting bad. Like when that in that one spot when Eddie did the uppercut to him and he fell like back first onto the ladder, that's like when his neck's like really started to
Oh
get bad.
yeah. I remember that spot.
But even before that, he had that great, series with him and Mysterio against Angle and Benoit. Those matches were great. And then unfortunately,
Oh my Lord. That tag match that they had at No Mercy. Oh my goodness.
one of the best matches that year, bro. Then he misses '03 with the neck injuries, pretty much out for a year. That really hurt SmackDown, I thought. Losing him really hurt that show.
It did because you had a potential in a young up and comer, and unfortunately, injuries happen. But yeah, that's what happened, man. And I'm just very curious on what could have been for him if he was in 2003. Hell, maybe they would have had him feud with Lesnar for the title during that time.
That could have happened. I think more than likely, though, at that Mania, he was probably going to be in that three-way tag match. Like instead of Benoit and Rhino, it would have been Benoit and Edge.
Interesting.
I more than I because they were kind of teaming up around that time, but like before Edge got hurt, so I'm like, yeah, they're probably going in that direction where they're gonna go for the tag titles.
Okay.
Because remember, Edge was supposed to be in that six-man tag at No Way Out, where it was like the two of them and Brock against Angle and Benjamin and Haas. But
Oh
then
yeah, yeah,
they did the angle where he got attacked and everything, which they never resolved actually, by the way.
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, then he comes back in '04. He comes back to Raw. To be honest, I wasn't really feeling him that much during this period. It was taking me a while to really kind of get readjusted to him. He even mentioned the same thing, like he
Yeah.
kind of, came back the same way with like the same entrance music, all that jazz. So
It was funny how he got the new theme song because I think like a contract dispute and like pretty much rights to the song. or whatever was about to expire, so he needed a new theme song. I believe he saw Alter Bridge at a concert, and he met up with them, became good friends with them, and the song Metallica's, that's the name of the song, the theme song, right? They were playing it before it actually became like a legit song. He liked it and he asked him, he's like, hey, could I use this song as my theme song? And they were like, yeah, definitely. So that's how it all started.
That's what's up. Yeah, he debuted that song around the time he like officially turned, like in the end of '04.
Right.
Crazy. He's had that song for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, then once he turned, he started to, like build more momentum, and he started, to click more, which eventually led to the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 21. Him being the very first person to win it.
The fact that he kept the whole world waiting for such a long time, because I kept saying to myself, like, dude, when is he going to use that briefcase? But
Bro, he's
patience,
the
man.
godfather of Money in the Bank. He's the one who set the tone for that shit.
Absolutely. And
Hell,
he said at the,
they have a whole review named after it, and you can thank a lot of that to Edge.
yeah, man, like, um, he, right timing, he cashes it in on John Cena after his hellacious elimination chamber match that he had, and do it at the right time, do it when your opponent is weakened. So he chose that spot and he did it.
Yeah, it was I couldn't believe it when I heard the news. I was in shock. I'm like, bro, he did it that way. And bro, he was smart for that, man, because that like brought a lot of interest to the show that hadn't been on the show in a while. Like it was one of those like genuine surprises and like what the fuck moments that you never saw coming.
Right.
And yeah, and that led to like the obviously the sex segment he had with Lita the next night on Raw, which is that monster rating. And yeah, it was good, man. Like it was a nice breath of fresh air because Cena had been the champion for so long, and then Edge, being a guy that the audience definitely already knew, already had an investment in, to like let him get a shot and for it to be more interesting. It was nice. I was starting like to get interested in Raw again, but then 3 weeks later, obviously they went back to Cena.
Hmm.
And that led to the match at WrestleMania with Foley, where like he really had a point to prove, where like he really wanted to show like that he belonged in that main event. And obviously Foley had a point to prove also, like to have that first like major Mania moment, and they both got their wish. Holy shit, did they both get their wish?
Oh boy, one of the best matches from that night.
And one of the craziest spots in Mania history where Foley gets speared by Edge from the apron through the table that's set on fire, bro. I could not believe it.
Never's been done at a WrestleMania before. Crazy.
Never pretty much been done, period. In WWE at least. And then I just said to myself, like, damn, if this is my last night watching wrestling, what a fucking way to go out.
Right.
Yeah, and then he ends up getting the title back, and then he has that feud with Cena that goes into the summer. Then they have that TLC match at Unforgiven, which I know you're a huge fan of.
Oh yes. Oh. Oof.
It was nice to see him come full circle, from that SummerSlam 2 years prior in Toronto where he got booed out of the building. And then for him to come back in 2006 in the main event as the champion and even as a bad guy and get cheered.
I know. How could we forget about that spot in the end when he got FU'd through not one but two tables from the top of the ladder? Oh,
Crazy, man. I couldn't believe that spot when I saw it.
me neither.
To be honest, when I saw that spot, I was saying to myself, like, did I make the right choice when I stopped watching?
That's what I'm. Oh, to this day, I pick at you forever for this, man. But you should have just, if you held on just a little bit longer, because the biggest important part of that year. I love the DX comeback though, but that feud between John Cena and Edge during 2006, oh my goodness, was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And it put Edge on the map as a main eventer, and that pretty much showed that they could trust him being in that top spot, which also led to him moving to SmackDown the following year and cashing in the Money in the Bank again on Undertaker.
That was another shocker.
Yeah, which would lead to their great feud that would go into 2008, which would lead to them main eventing WrestleMania that year. And he said that was one of the highlights of his career was that moment, like that moment when he came out and
Of
made his
course.
entrance. That was definitely one of his.
Of
He's
course.
like said he just felt numb.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. Yeah, of course. I mean, because you're in the middle.
And they had a great feud, and they had a great feud that whole year. That match was great. I think they went on to have better ones as the year went on, but that match was still great. And I was happy that he got that spot. I was happy that he probably should have gotten it in '06 with Cena, but I was happy that he got to have it that year with Taker. Obviously, in 2011, he had to retire because of a neck injury, which sucked, and he had to forfeit the title and everything. And yeah, it was a very heartbreaking moment to see that.
It was. I wasn't watching wrestling anymore at the time, but when I heard that,
Neither was I, but I heard about it.
yeah, when I heard about it, I felt bad for him, um, and it just to make good of it, seeing him, I was a bit shocked that they inducted him in the Hall of Fame that early, a year later.
And it's funny, he said one of his ideas for that Mania that year because he kind of felt like he was on his way, towards retiring anyway by that point, but he wanted to maybe try to wrestle for one more year. And that WrestleMania actually in Miami, he wanted to do like a retirement match against Christian, but obviously he
Mm,
didn't make it that far.
got you.
Hell, Christian missed that Mania also because of a concussion.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Hmm.
Yeah, he got inducted into the Hall of Fame that year. That was great to see. And he kind of disappeared for a few years. He kind of did try to have a life outside of wrestling. He got married to Beth Phoenix, and then they had kids, and he was doing acting stuff.
Yeah,
I remember he had a podcast with Christian for a little while too.
he did. He also had like a little show on the WWE Network with him as well.
Yeah, like in 2018. Yeah, like the 2018 period.
Mhm.
And then he started to get that bug in that 2019 time frame made that run in at SummerSlam where he speared Elias. Where he speared Elias.
Yeah, and I was at your house watching that SummerSlam, and that one was in Toronto.
Yeah, that's right. You were.
Yeah,
Yeah, in Toronto.
yeah,
And I was like hearing rumblings around the time of the Royal Rumble that he might be a surprise entrant, but I didn't want to put too much stock into it. And he even denounced it himself, saying like, I'm never going to be cleared. I'm not coming back. It's not happening." And then lo and behold, the night of the Royal Rumble at the number 21 spot, we hear Edge's music hit, and bro, I have to say that is one of the seeing him come out and make that comeback that night was one of the happiest moments in all my years of watching wrestling. I
and
genuinely mean that.
yeah, and
It's great.
again,
It's
we
great.
talked about it before. This is the day that Kobe Bryant passed away, and seeing Edge come back, that kind of really it was a bittersweet but feel good moment if you're a wrestling and sports.
Yeah, and you could see him almost crying like when he feels the reaction from the crowd, and yeah, bro, it was just such a great moment to see considering how he had to retire and how sad he was when he gave that speech when he did retire, to see him finally be able to overcome all that when they told him he would never come back and would never be cleared, for him to beat all those odds to come back in the Royal Rumble and get that kind of reaction. Bro, you can't write a better story than that. You cannot write a better story than that. And then he has the feud with Randy Orton, which unfortunately they didn't get to have a crowd for WrestleMania, but they did have a
Uh,
great match at Backlash. Their match at Backlash, stupid tagline aside, was very good.
yeah, it was. I heard a lot of good things from that match, and that was a great feud. You know, I remember it was such a great storyline going into that WrestleMania, especially with the crowd. But then, unfortunately, we had the pandemic. We had no fans, though. But yeah, I mean, regardless, it was a great feud and a great match.
Yeah, and then he got hurt actually during that match, during filming that match, and then he was out for 6 months, and then he came back in time for the Royal Rumble the following year, which he ended up winning from the number one spot.
Yeah, yeah.
But unfortunately, despite having a great match in the main event of WrestleMania that year with Roman and Daniel Bryan, he did not win the title.
Oh man, that kind of stings me to this day a little bit that he didn't win because I really thought he was going
I was really pulling for him in that match, and I really thought it was about to happen. And then Jey Uso ended up interfering. I'm like, fuck, man, fuck. And that was one of the three times where I really thought Roman was gonna lose for sure, and I was literally hurting for it, and then it ended up not happening.
to. Hmm.
Being that one, the Drew match, and also the one with Cody at Mania this year. Yeah, but great match nonetheless. He still got to main event WrestleMania a second time. You can't take that away from him. But it's so crazy. He's the only person to win the Royal Rumble twice and then go on to WrestleMania and not win.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, he should have at least won the one against Jericho.
That was a bit odd. That was odd. Yeah, looking back, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but shit happens, and then he had that great feud with Seth Rollins. That trilogy that he had in the latter part of the year was mad dope, especially the Hell in a Cell match.
Great feud.
Yeah, I think that's probably his best feud since he came back. Out of all his feuds since he came back, that was his best feud.
Yeah, I agree.
And then he started the whole Judgment Day thing. He like turned heel, started the whole Judgment Day thing until they eventually turned on him. And honestly, looking back at it now, turning on him and the way Judgment Day turned out, I liked it. I think it paid off well.
At first sight, was kind of like it was like just not the good idea for him to kick him out, and it was weird though. But looking back, I mean, hey, it is what it is.
And I think Dominic really helped it out too. I think adding Dominic to it was a huge, huge plus.
Yes.
And pretty much for like the last year, he feuded with Finn Balor and the rest of Judgment Day. They had that great mixed tag at Elimination Chamber with him and Beth. I actually really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, that was. Oh yeah, that was a good one too.
To be honest, I like that match more than I like the Hell in a Cell he had with Finn at WrestleMania.
Really.
Yeah, honestly, I did. Yeah, nothing against the Hell in a Cell. It was still good. I wasn't crazy about why they stopped it, but I get why. But it was still good. But I gotta say, I like the mixed tag a little more. And he wrestled that triple threat on SmackDown a few weeks ago for like the number one contendership. And yeah, it was just random. He hasn't wrestled since.
Kind of like on that close of like wanting to retire against him. So that's what I heard.
I wonder who he's gonna retire against.
Yeah.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, great career. Can't believe it's been 25 years. I guess technically 15 years because he
Wow.
didn't wrestle for like 10 of them.
True.
But still, man, one of the greats to ever do it. Definitely somebody who's Hall of Fame worthy, a legend, icon in every way, shape, and form, and a dude who definitely paved the way.
Well, honestly, he's my top five wrestlers Canadian.
Hands down. Yeah, hands down. When he debuted in 98, I would have never guessed that he would have had the run that he did.
Right? Nobody did.
Yeah, but it's funny how things turn out, and it's great that it happened. But one last thing before we get out of here, I want to get into the most recent Dark Side of the Ring episode that debuted this past week, which is about the Junkyard Dog.
Yes.
And I remember the Junkyard Dog from that mid '80s WWE era, and he was super super popular. He wasn't like in the main events like Hogan and Piper and whatnot, and those guys, but he was still a very popular and very noticeable part of that show.
It's very interesting to hear that.
Yeah, I'll never forget the pop he gets at WrestleMania 1 when another one bites the dust hits and he comes out. Yo, that shit was wild. He arguably got one of the hottest pops of the whole night.
Wow.
Yeah, he was popping, man. But even before that, before he even got to WWE, he was a big deal in the Mid South territory, like in Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, like the territory that Bill Watts ran, that Jim Ross worked at. He was a fucking rock star there, man.
Wow.
He was there. He was the black version of Hogan in that territory.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
that's how
interesting to
popular he
hear.
was. That's how
Wow.
popular he was, man. He was big. He was a big fucking deal. He was such a big deal. They did a storyline once where he got blinded by hair removal by the Freebirds, and like the Freebirds were like the most hated dudes in the whole place, and like they couldn't go anywhere without getting like fucked with by people, and like there was like so much sympathy for Junkyard Dog to the point where like he pretended to be blind, and like he even like he did like a promo saying how like his daughter was about to be born and now he won't be able to see her because of what the Freebirds did to him, and people bought into that shit. People really bought into that shit.
Wow.
It was so bad. He was sitting at side once, like pretending to be blind, and like the Freebirds were in the ring talking shit to him, and then Junkyard Dog notices like a dude pull out a gun and the dude says to Junkyard Dog like, "Don't worry, Junkyard, I'll get him for you." And then Junkyard has like a dilemma here where like if he breaks character and stops the dude from shooting them, then it's gonna fuck up the whole storyline. But if he doesn't stop the dude's gonna end up shooting the guys. But before he had to act, the security dudes ended up taking the guy down.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy, man. The commitment to this fucking craft and the kayfabe back then. Holy shit.
Dang.
Jim Cornette told that story. Jim Cornette said that Dog has told that story for years that happened. But I
Mm.
mean, others have disputed it, but who knows? But that's a crazy ass story, though, if it did happen.
Crazy to hear that.
He was a rock star, man. He was living that rock star life during that period, like to the point where like girls would pay to have sex with him.
What?
Yeah, like they interviewed his nephew for the documentary. Like his nephew would be talking about how he would be on the road with him sometimes, and he said he never realized that, like, wrestlers had groupies.
Man.
Yeah, they interviewed Tony Atlas, they interviewed Jake the Snake, they interviewed Jim Ross, they interviewed Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jim Cornette. Yeah, his nephew. Yeah, he was a big deal in that territory, but also his drug issues were very noticeable during that era. Also, that's when, like, when he really started getting hardcore into speed, coke, crack, all that jazz. But
Damn.
despite that, he was still a big star. He was still very popular. He was still moving a lot of tickets, and he was like the first really big black wrestling superstar
You know what? That's true. Yeah, that's a safe way to put it. Yeah.
to like be a main eventer. He was like the first one. Like he really paved the way for guys like Booker T, Mark Henry, The Rock, Ron Simmons. He paved the way for all of them. Also, Teddy Long they interviewed for this too.
Oh, that's interesting. Good.
But yeah, he was a trendsetter in that regard. He was super popular. He wasn't the best wrestler per se. That's the main thing they said about him. He wasn't the best wrestler, but the charisma he had more than made up for that shit.
I think at that time, during that time, I think, you know, if if you're getting over with the crowd, I think what you do kind of like oversees what you could do in the ring, talent wise.
Yeah, definitely. Like a lot of the dudes back then in that era, they weren't the best wrestlers, but they had the charisma, they had the character, they had the shit to make you emotionally invested. That you look past all that.
Yeah, kind of like with Hogan.
Yeah, to a degree. And then they talk about how, like, in '84, he catches the eye of Vince as, like, Vince is on, like, his national expansion shit. So he catches Vince's eye, and then Vince offers him like three times the amount of money that he's getting from Bill Watts, and then he just ups and leaves Mid South and goes to WWE.
Mm,
And Bill Watts was heartbroken from what everybody said in this documentary from Junkyard leaving. He was heartbroken
damn.
because the thing was he had never been that giving and like that good to a wrestler, like his top wrestler, than he had been to JYD or even a black one at that.
Oh wow.
And yeah, basically the relationship he had with JYD was very similar to, you could say, the relationship Austin had with Vince,
Hmm.
which is funny because after JYD left, Bill Watts cut a promo on him, like on the show afterwards, basically saying how, like, he walked out on all the fans, he walked out on this company.
Is it best saying that?
They didn't interview him for it, but Teddy Long told an interesting story about how there was an incident once where, like, Grizzly Smith, Jake the Snake's dad, was having a conversation with Bill Watts in the locker room. I'm sorry, in the bathroom, and Grizzly Smith said, "I'm afraid we might lose Junkyard Dog to WWE." And basically, Bill Watts responded saying, "Don't worry about it. That nigga's not going anywhere."
He said that.
According to Junkyard Dog, this happened. And the thing is, they didn't know that Junkyard Dog was in the bathroom stall the whole time and heard everything.
This kind of reminds me of Trading. Was it Trading Places? I don't know if you ever seen that movie.
I've seen it, but not like religiously, so I don't remember it like by heart.
No, there's a scene where like Eddie Murphy was in the bathroom and he's overhearing the two rich white guys talking, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay that, that nigger, all that money, and blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So yeah, kind of reminds me of that.
Bill Watts has always denied that that ever happened. They tried to get him to be interviewed for it, but he denied being interviewed,
Oh,
and he also denied those allegations. So,
right. Hmm.
but they said they had never seen a grown man. They had never seen Bill Watts cry before, and so Junkyard Dog left him.
Uh,
He was their big star, man. He was their Hogan. He was literally their Hogan. Yeah, that national expansion. Yeah, Vince took everyone. He took everybody's top stars.
dang.
So then Junkyard Dog goes to the WWE. He's still very popular. He's still marketed well, and he's still, like, featured heavily. But the thing is, he's not the same top star that he was when he was in Mid South.
Hmm.
Because we all know in the '80s it was the Hogan show.
Right.
Yeah, so, like, he was still popular, but, like, he wasn't on that same level. Like, he was getting paid well and all that, and he was like making, six figures a quarter just from his merchandise and royalties.
Oh
Yeah, he was popular, man. Like he was on that Saturday morning cartoon with Hogan. He had the action figure. Yeah, there was always these clips of like him, like dancing with the kids after his matches and stuff. Yeah, he was popular, bro. The reaction he got at WrestleMania 1 and also WrestleMania 3. Yeah, he was a big deal. But like, look, watching the documentary now, I guess I see what they mean about him not being the same thing he was in Mid South. I guess in a sense, like how like Dusty Rhodes wasn't the same in WWE as he was when he was in Jim Crockett Promotions. Yeah, but I think it hurt Junkyard Dog a little more, and that also causes drug issues to get even more out of hand to the point where he would just open up and smoke crack like in backstage at Madison Square Garden just in front of everybody and just like didn't give a fuck. And then he ultimately got let go by WWE pretty much for missing shows and not being reliable. And yeah, it's too bad. Like you could definitely tell the difference from Junkyard Dog between WrestleMania 3 and WrestleMania 4.
Oh wow. Hmm.
Yeah, he was heavy into that shit. Then he was like working on the independents for a while, and he hit rock bottom, and it got to the point where he was actually working at Walmart.
What?
Yeah, he was working at Walmart. That's how bad it got.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, it sucked, but eventually he did go to WCW for a little while, but it just wasn't the same. He was older, different time frame. WCW also wasn't in the best place at the time, so yeah, it just wasn't the same when he was there.
Man.
And yeah, they also interviewed Ted DiBiase for this. They interviewed Ted DiBiase, also Coco Beware. And Ted DiBiase told a story because actually, I don't know if you know, him and Ted DiBiase were very close. And it was to the point where he was the best man at Ted DiBiase's wedding.
Oh, he was?
There's a picture of Ted DiBiase at his wedding, and yeah, there's Junkyard Dog standing next to him.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Ted DiBiase, like by this point, had like his ministry, and was like talking to people about God. And then Junkyard Dog talked to him on the phone once, and Junkyard Dog basically told him, "Please tell your kids like to not make the same mistakes that I did."
Interesting.
And he said that was one of the last conversations he had with them. And then Junkyard Dog drove to North Carolina for his daughter's graduation, but then ended up missing it. But then got to the after party for it and hung out with his daughter and his family for a few hours. And then after that, he was gonna drive actually back home to Mississippi. And his nephew was like telling the story about this, and his nephew was like, "Hey, you sure you don't want to pull over or something?" He's like, "No, no, no, I'll just drive home." And then he ends up finding out the next morning that he died in a car accident. He ended up falling asleep at the wheel, and then like he like fell off the road, and his car flipped over like multiple times, and yeah, it was a wrap.
Oh,
Sad too, driving back from his daughter's graduation from high school, and then that shit happens.
crazy.
And it's even crazy. I saw him a month before at the ECW pay per view, WrestlePalooza. It was like, yeah, like literally a month before he died. Yeah, he made an appearance. And I also heard a crazy story about that show is that supposedly New Jack wanted to beat him up because he like stole drugs from him or didn't pay him for like some drugs he gave to him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I heard that story. Yeah, Jake the Snake was like very interesting on his documentary because he could also relate to Junkyard Dog's drug issues and like he could like definitely tell like he was not in a good place. And he even said that when he heard that Junkyard Dog died, he deep down was happy for him.
Oh, because all his pain and suffering was over.
Because I heard Jake the Snake tell the stories for years that like when Big Boss Man would die or Mr. Perfect would die or Hawk from Legion of Doom would die, he would just be mad at God and say like, "Yo, why couldn't you have taken me instead?"
Because he had more of the problems than them.
I guess that too. But yeah, he said like because at that point in his life he was like still like not in a good place, and yeah, that's why he felt that way.
So,
Yeah, cool. It's been a good season so far. I think that was the best episode, and the Doink episode last week was good. The one about the dude Matt Bourne who played him. Yeah, that episode was also crazy.
oh, okay.
In Mid South, they actually had a stable with him, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Ted DiBiase.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Also had heavy drug problems too. This dude he had heavy drug problems where like one night Duggan hit a fan who tried to hit him in the audience, and he hit the fan and he fell down. And then that Matt Bourne dude kicked the dude in the face and he crushed his eye socket.
Damn.
Fuck. And the reason why he got fired from WWE was because of drugs. Like when he was playing Doink the Clown character, that's the reason he got fired was because of that.
Wow.
Fucked up. Yeah, because they weren't playing that shit at that time. During that '93 period, they were not playing that shit.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah, Dark Side of the Ring has been good so far this season, and the episode documenting Adrian Adonis debuts in 2 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah, that dude was very androgynous. Like, yeah, Bret Hart even said that himself. Like, he was, like the verse where like very like I guess androgynous type wrestler that was like super tough and you could not fuck with. Like, I guess before Goldust there was Adrian Adonis.
got you, got you.
All right, so yeah, I know you got to get out of here. So let's wrap this up. Enjoy Money in the Bank this weekend, and enjoy Collision this
Yes,
Saturday also, and whatever Fourth of July plans you may have or whatever have you, and also enjoy Indiana Jones this weekend for you.
yes. I This is the final chapter, final movie. Um, I'm not trying to put high expectations on it. I just want to enjoy it. Hopefully, it will be good. So,
Hopefully it will be. And for John Randall, this is Kirk Cadet for another edition of the Clash of the Champions. Have a good weekend. God bless. And remember, do not be an asshole in real life or on social media because that shit is for the birds. Take care.